pt2. For centuries, he walked unseen. Storms battered his fur. Snow packed into the grooves of his bones. Rivers carved new paths beneath his feet. Empires rose, burned, and turned to dust without ever knowing he stood at their edges, watching. But the signal never stopped. Each night, when the forest stilled and the world exhaled, he reached outward, pushing broken fragments of thought into the dark, a pattern older than Earth, a call shaped from memory, desperation, and fading hope. It always returned to silence, until one night it didn't. The change was subtle, a pressure in his skull, a vibration in the lattice of altered neurons that once let him navigate galaxies. He staggered, dropping to one knee atop a frozen ridgeline, breath steaming into the thin air. Something had answered, not clearly, not fully, just a whisper, distorted, fractured, delayed by light years of cosmic interference. Still alive. For the first time in over 10,000 years, he felt something crack open inside his chest. Hope. The response carried coordinates, ancient and half-corrupted, pointing beyond the veil of human perception. A place where space-time bent thin, where a rescue might be possible. But something else rode the signal. Fear. The message warned of hunters, beings drawn to stranded travelers, feeding on fractured civilizations, trackers who followed psychic residue across dimensions like blood and water. And now, after centuries of silence, his signal had become a beacon. They were coming. The forest felt it before humanity ever could. Birds fled migration routes they had followed since the Ice Age. Elk abandoned valleys. Wolves howled toward empty skies, then vanished into deeper wilderness. Entire ecosystems shifted, subtly but urgently, as if the planet itself sensed an approaching infection. And humans began to notice. A research station in the Cascades lost all power for 6 minutes at exactly 4:23 a.m. Satellites recorded gravitational anomalies over remote mountain ranges. Tiny, localized distortions that vanished before instruments could fully register them. Then the disappearances started. Not abductions, not attacks. People would hike into the wilderness and come back. Wrong. They remembered leaving. They remembered returning. But nothing in between. Hours of their lives erased, leaving behind only vague impressions, towering shadows, impossible stillness, a sensation of being gently guided. Some claimed they felt enormous hands moving them away from cliffs, from sinkholes, from unseen predators. Others woke miles from where they should have been, shoes worn thin, clothes torn by branches they couldn't remember passing. And every single one of them reported the same lingering feeling, that they had not been alone. He tried to stay hidden. The hunters could sense cognitive displacement. Each time he bent perception, it echoed faintly across dimensions, a ripple in the wrong ocean. But letting humans wander into danger without intervention felt impossible. So he chose carefully. A lost hiker, delirious with dehydration, a child separated from their parents during a storm, a climber clinging to melting ice above a fatal drop. He moved them quietly, gently, never letting them fully see him. But the hunters drew closer. The first tier opened above a dead stretch of forest in northern Canada. Trees blackened instantly, their bark collapsing into gray ash. Gravity twisted, sound warped. Wildlife fled in blind terror. Through the fracture slid something vast and wrong. Not a ship, a presence. It moved like thought and shadow woven together. A creature of folded dimensions, hunting by following disturbances in consciousness itself. It tasted fear, memory, and longing. And it tasted him. He felt the moment the veil broke. Pain exploded through his skull, sharper than the impact that had stranded him on Earth. The stars above blurred into spiraling streaks as his mind locked onto the incoming entity. He had two choices, run or stand. Running would doom the humans. The hunters would scour the planet, feeding on its billions of minds, tearing open reality again and again, until Earth became a scar visible across galaxies. So he turned toward the rift. He climbed higher into the mountains, toward thinning air and bare stone, broadcasting a false signal, a decoy strong enough to pull the hunters away from civilization. With each step, his ancient mind strained against the limits of his altered body, dragging cosmic power through muscles and bone never meant to contain it. The sky darkened, stars warped, thunder rolled without clouds, and somewhere beyond perception, something monstrous began to chase him. By morning, dozens of hikers across 3 states reported seeing the same impossible silhouette moving along distant ridgelines. Tall, furred, glowing faintly against storm-lit clouds. Then just as suddenly, nothing. No tracks, no thermal signatures, no echoes. Only a deep, unsettling quiet that settled over the wilderness like held breath. But late at night, when the world grows still, some swear they still feel it. A presence, watching, protecting, and waiting for something far worse than Bigfoot to finally arrive. Thank you for the support. It keeps the darkness alive. Stay locked in, keep your lights low, and subscribe to Quick Creepy Tales, where the stories don't end when the video does. See you in the next nightmare.